Hi, welcome to Bob Harper Jukebox Amplifier Repairs. And on the bench today, we've not got an amplifier. Well, we have, but that's in the record player. This is a little Fidelity record player from the probably early 60s, I would imagine, because it's still got a valve amp in it. Just a single stage amp, valve rectification. I'm just diving into it now. As you can see, I have done the mechanism, give that a service, lubricated it, cleaned it. The pin was snapped on the overarm, which I've sorted out. Also, the record sensing lever was all jammed solid, so I've taken that out and cleaned all that. Cleaned the main cog or cam wheel that operates the mechanism. Stripped and cleaned the motor. Resurfaced the idler wheel with a bit of rubber renew. Cleaned the inside of the rim. Everything that you do really on a record player. So now I'm just about to dive into the amplifier. Looking at the amplifier, I did plug it in on Variac to see what it did, and to be honest, there's not any much hum on it. But obviously, due to the age of this cap, I'm going to change it anyway. I haven't tested the valves yet. It has got a little bit of gain, not that much gain. This resistor here I've just replaced because the old one, which I put down here somewhere, which I can't find. Hang on. How is that? There it is. The old one, he was well cooked, as you can see. So I put a new 100 ohm 7 watt resistor in there. The original cartridge was knackered. And it was one of these in it, a GP91-1. I did have one of these in my junk drawer. If I put the stylus into it, it didn't have a stylus in it, and also the spring clip thing on the back, which tensions the stylus flip over, was all bent on this one. So I've taken it out, straightened it, and re-glued it with a bit of epoxy. You can see it there. So now he flips over properly. He's got a good output. I put it on the scope, so he's got a good output. I just hope the cantilever is not rock hard. It doesn't seem to be, so hopefully it will track well. The only thing left on the record player deck I've got to do is the spring for the tone arm is missing on this one. So obviously I've got to try and find a spring in my junk box that I can fit into the underside of the tone arm, so that I can get the tracking weight down from what it is at the moment. I mean, I don't normally do these little record players, to be honest. They're more trouble than they're worth. But this one was customer of mine. It's for sentimental value. He had it when he was 14 years old. It's been in his mum and dad's probably loft for till now. It was probably, like 40 odd years. So he wants it going again. So I said I'd do it for him. But anyway, once I've done the amp, I'll continue on with this video, and we can have a look at it. I don't video myself working. Some people do. Basically, I only got a phone I've got to hold in one hand, and secondly, I can't sort of work and talk at the same time. I like to do one or the other. Okay, so as soon as the amp's done, I've recapped it, and we'll give it a test. Okay, thanks a lot for watching. Right, now you can see that I've now recapped the amplifier. The only thing left to do now is to put a new mains lead on it. Now this is what is called a live chassis record player. That means the chassis is not grounded, and it can't be grounded because it's connected to the neutral or to the live, whichever way around you put the old cord. Of course, if it was live to the chassis, it was extremely dangerous, because obviously the screen of the cartridge is connected here, which would make the pins on the back of the cartridge, one of them could potentially be live. So I'm going to replace the old white sort of like bell wire mains lead with a double insulated 2-core mains lead, obviously brown and blue, and a new 13 amp plug with a 3 amp fuse fitted. I'm not going to ground this amplifier or the chassis. This is not being sold, it's been done for a customer. It will be safer than what it was when the thing was manufactured, so it's not really compliant with modern regulations. If I was selling it, I would need to earth this and alter the amplifier slightly, put a capacitor in between this ground and proper earth ground. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to leave the amplifier and record player as original, but with a proper mains lead on it. Saying that, what I've done now, as you can see, this can cap now is just there, it's not doing anything. I've replaced the cathode capacitor there. I replaced the cathode resistor, which was way out of tolerance. I've replaced the dropper resistor there with a new one, because that was nearly double its value, that old Cook one, when I checked it. Then what I've done here, I mounted a tag strip here to take the two new filter capacitors and the resistor between the two sections. Now these capacitors are a little bit bigger than what you could get away with, voltage wise that is, because I'm used to working on jukebox amplifiers. This is 500 volt rated caps. Don't really need that in a little record player like this. I doubt if it gets much above about 250, to be honest. I've replaced that capacitor there, which is a tone correction capacitor across the output transformer. Very important to replace that one, but for the few components in it, you might as well just replace the lot and then you know it's done then. So that's about it. Oh, one thing more to point out, I put this tag strip here and you can see it's screwed down through the chassis. I had to re-drill that hole just to mount the tag strip properly. But these groundings of these two capacitors are not grounded here. It's important that you always maintain the grounding as the amplifier was built. So you can see these are the two grounds here, runs back over to here, which was the original grounding point for the metal can. And all I've done there is put, and for the live side, all I've done is taken the two lives, one from the rectifier valve and the other one, the second smoothing cap, over here with new bits of wire, as you can see, and joins the caps here. Sometimes you've got space to mount them around there, but this was a neater job to move them. But electrically they are connected to where they were originally. They're not electrically connected to the chassis over here. If you do, you're liable to get hum, because the current will find the easiest path, and it will go through the chassis, obviously, right past the volume control. Not good. Always maintain the earthing arrangements, grounding I should say, arrangements as they were manufactured, and then you can't go wrong, hopefully. Okay, so next step, I'm going to put the mains lead on it and button it back up and put the cartridge back in now that the glue's dried on the cartridge here. Hoping that one will be okay. Find the little spring for the tone arm and then we should be good to go. Okay, so thanks for watching this section, and the next section will be the record player back together. Right, welcome back to this little Fidelity record player that he's had the amp out and done the mech on. He's all done now, he's back together, but I did drop a bit of a bollock, to be honest. The cartridge that was in it was an A-class GP91-1, which was faulty, knackered. So I did find another one and put in there, and I got no volume. And then looking at the specs of the GP91-1, it only got a 200 millivolt output, and obviously this is a single valve record player. It needs a couple of volt cartridge really. So luckily I had a rummage through my stash and I found a BSR cartridge, high output one. What are they called? I forget what they're called. X5H, that's what it. So I found a couple of those in my box, and this one's alright, and it's got a decent stylus in it as well. I replaced the spring on the tone arm, so now he's tracking probably about 6-7 grams, something like that. You can't go too light with these because hardly any compliance in this cartridge because it's a high output one. So it don't like high bass 80s records. It's liable to throw the stylus back off the record and make it jump. There's nothing you can do about that. It's just that these cartridges, and they're getting on a bit in years as well, so they've probably stiffened up a little bit. But for playing 60s records of the era, mono, or even early 70s stereo ones, because this is a stereo compatible stylus, but the cartridges on the tone arm just can't cope with the bass of the heavy modulated 80s bass records. But with a normal record like we've got on here now, it plays fine. It plays 78s fine. It works on all the speeds. Tried all the different size records, so it's dropping as it should now. So we'll turn it on. There is a bit of background hum on this, which I don't like, but can't do much about it. It's the most crappiest, cheapest epoxy amplifier you've ever seen in this thing, as you saw. They were built just to make a sound with the most minimum components needed to get some sound out of the thing. So we'll turn it on. Turn the deck on. Let's turn our clips off. Try and do it one-handed. Volume, tone. Don't sound too bad, I suppose, for a teenager's record player. Well, I'm used to working on a bit higher quality stuff than this, so perhaps I'm being a bit overcritical. And there we go. Just let the deck finish now, doing what it's got to do. You can hear that slight background hum now. Can't do much about that. And I'll turn him off. There you go, he's off now. Turntable's just spinning down, it's all been gone through, so the mech's nice and free now. As you can see, the spin down on it is quite good. So yeah, he's all ready to do. I just got to put a plug on it. It's just on my Variac at the moment. I haven't got a plug with a 3 amp fuse, so as soon as I got one of those, I'll shove that on and then he can go back to the customer. Okay, thanks a lot for watching.